Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. It is your favorite person in the world, the Syntax Sorcerer. Sorry about the. I've been off for about like a week or two. Kind of had some family stuff come up, some very personal stuff, so I've just been dealing with that, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to sit down, record videos. But with that being said, I'm about to record 12 videos back to back. So we're going to go from lesson 24 to like lesson 35, 11 videos or something. So there is a lot to go over. And today, as you can see, we are going to begin with encapsulation. So there are technically four main principles of object-oriented programming. Four main principles, and they are encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Now, we're going to do a separate lesson on each of those, and some of them even have multiple lessons. I think there's a part 2 twice in here, basically. But yeah, so we're going to go over those. Excuse that. But basically, when it comes to object-oriented programming, object-oriented programming is like based on the concept of objects, right? So how do I program real-world things? So those will be my objects. These objects will then contain the data, the code, in the form of like the fields, the attributes, the properties, and then the procedures, like the methods, right? And so we're going to be going over all of that. So now we've kind of stepped out of the very beginner area, and we've kind of stepped into the beginning of intermediate. So maybe I'll start a new C# section about intermediate programming. But for now, this is what we're going to start with. So let's jump right into encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? So encapsulation is the mechanism of hiding the internal state of an object and requiring all interaction to be performed through an object's method or methods, depending. So typically, this is done by using access modifiers. And some of you are going, wait, what's an access modifier? And that's what we're going to go over today, guys. So strap on in, get your Visual Studios booted up, and let's hop on into it. So what are we going to do? Well, yeah, let's just write a couple methods, actually. How about that? So we're going to say public class, we call it person, okay? And then, no, not public key. Don't do that. Silly. Now it's going to make everything weird. Okay. So we're going to start with public class. Oh, see, now it's already mad at me. Because it wants to add extra things in. Oh, golly gee. This is why you leave me alone. Oh, now it's all goofy. 1, 2. And it thinks there's nothing here. Anyways, we'll be fine. It'll be all right. We're working inside of this anyways. So for public class person, we're going to do our getters and setters. So we're going to do get, and that. Why are you doing all this? Get. No. Oh. I don't know what's going on with Visual Studios today. Return name. The autofill is definitely messing this up. I'm going to redo this real quick, so excuse this real fast. It's messing all this up. There we go. I was gonna say something mean. Unfuck yourself. Public. Nope. See, it keeps doing this. I need to turn this auto stuff off. Okay, you're usually supposed to be able to hit space, and it doesn't do this, but class person, and then we're gonna do the bam. Now it's doing the weird thing again. So maybe I'll do this. That'll unmess it. I don't know what's going on. All right, maybe we won't be able to run this one just because it wants to be weird today. Anyways, inside of public class person, we're going to have our private fields. These are our private variables, right? And we'll say variables so some of you don't get confused. We're going to say private. Oh, gosh. Why can't I spell today? It's already got me thrown off. Private string name. Perfect. We're going to do private int age. Yep, perfect. Just like that. Let's give some space here because we're going to go through and do... Why are you doing... I don't know why. Don't at me. Visual Studios is being weird today. I'm public person, private fields. Yeah. This is what we want to do. Just had to make sure it wasn't doing... Oh, man. I'm not having a good day. I don't know why. Usually with this line, it knows to add inside the line like this. But with this thing happening, it's acting extremely strange. And yeah, you see I add one in, and Visual Studio's like, I don't know where that comes from. That's because this is supposed to be here, and that's supposed to be there. Those are supposed to be inside, and that's that, but it's just being silly right now. And that's, you know what, that's fine. We're going to be all right. We're just going to write the code. If it doesn't want to run, that's something else. This is just for the learning purposes, for the children's. All right, let's move inside. We're just going to do this. Next up, we're going to make a public properties to get and set the private fields. Yeah. That was the getters and setters. I skipped the private fields because I'm so not into it. Okay, and with that we're going to say public string name. Oops, capital M there, remember that. And then boom, it makes that. And we're going to say get return name set name is equal to value. Right? So just like that. Ooh, why do you want to be such a pain in the butt? All right, I'm just going to have to use the autofill. Most of the time I like to just try to type it out, but it's really being a butt. We need to move all this inside. That's just the syntax itself is going to bother me. These are all inside this. Right? You guys see this. Like, it's giving me, like, this weird error. And it's like, oh, where's that? This is just going to require a Visual Studio's restart. Because it's just being silly because of the autofill was messing things up. So, as you can see, it is not actually missing anything. It's just being silly. So if this is happening for you, don't panic. It's not that big of a deal. It's just being kind of dumb. Visual Studios does that, so that's why some people prefer Visual Studio Code. I'm just used to Studio because that's what I was taught on. I barely ever used Code. So anyways, so let's do another one. Public int age, we'll say, and then whatever. I'm over it. Get, and then we're gonna say return age, right? And then set is not going to be this autofill. So set, we're gonna do something like if, and then value is greater than or equal to 0. and close that and say age should be non-negative. And what we're doing is kind of a lesson in one of the other ones where we talk about exception handling. So we're going to go into more exception handling later. For now, this is just know that this is called exception handling. And we're going to say age is equal to value. All right, so let's just kind of review. We've got private string name, private int age. Then we're going to make a public property, public being keyword here, to set and get the private fields. Public string name, setter getters, public int age, setter getters, and then making sure age isn't negative. So it's got to be 0 or above, right? Perfect. Moving on. After public int age, now this one's missing. Oh gosh, this is just getting all sorts of crazy, isn't it? Now there is a missing thing because that's from public int age. If you didn't screw me up, I would be better, Visual Studios. And this is, again, this is a problem that can just randomly happen. Sometimes everything's fine and other times it's not. So let's do, we're going to do method to display personal, gosh, just got me all sorts of messed up. We're going to call it public, and we'll say it's a void display info, right? And then we're going to have some fields for it, but you'll see why in a second. Then we'll do console.writeLine, and we're going to say something like, let's use our money symbol, if you guys remember that. If you guys remember what that's for, 10 points to Gryffindor. If you don't, that's okay. We're going to say name, and then we're going to do inside, we're going to do name, right? And then we'll do a little comma right there. We'll say age, and then same thing, age, right? And I think that's good for that. Yeah, that looks fine. All right, last but not least, we'll jump outside of this specific one. And we're going to, actually, we're going to jump outside of public class person in general. Make sure we're outside of public class person. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to do an entirely new public class program, right? And normally we're not just going to call it program, right? Obviously. And this is not going to run because, as you can see, Visual Studios is being silly, and I don't want to start and restart it for you guys. It's just, we're just learning the code anyways. If it works on your end, it should run. If there's an error I'm not seeing, it's probably just because program members cannot name. Okay, so we're gonna running program. That's an actual error that we have to deal with, right? So that the running program is going to take care of this. Okay, so inside of this, we're going to need, yeah, I know you guys are sitting there like, why is it doing this? We're going to write another method, void static and main. Oh, you know what? I made main up here. So we're going to, it comes with main set up. So we're going to delete one of mains. And we're going to say string square braces args for arguments, if I remember correctly, if my syntax is still good, which it could very well be terrible. We're going to say, so look at this. It knows what we're doing, which is great, because we're trying to create a public class of person, right? We're going to say public class person, new person, equals new instance of public class person, right? And then we're going to say, we're going to then call on the name and the age, and then we're going to display that info, right? So next up, we're going to say, you should remember this from our previous lessons, person dot name equals, and we're just going to give it some input, Alice. Again, we can do a question where we ask the person, they input the name, but for now, we're just inputting our own information in, but you normally would want to ask. So then we're going to do age. We're going to do like 30. That should be fine. And then we're going to say person dot display info. Some of you are like, what does that do? And what this is going to do is it's going to output name Alice, age 30. Now, I don't know if this is going to run. Oops, undo that. Control S is what I was trying to hit. We can see. Let's try, huh? It looks like the error's cleared up once I moved main for some reason. Oh, I know why. It's just being silly. Yeah. All right, there we go. Name Alice, age 30. It's because I'm so out of it, guys. I'm sorry. It's because I created another public class inside of main, and normally that's okay in a lot of instances, but we're trying to do encapsulation. So, okay. So we've done this, right? Encapsulation right here. What did we do? We encapsulated. Think of it like, you know, those pills that you get that you can pull apart and all the dust comes out. They're like a sugar coating so that it, like, you don't taste the medicine because they can only come in like a specific powder form, or they're effective in their powder form. We've taken some code and we've put it inside that pill, the pill capsule, right? We've encapsulated it. So we've encapsulated public class person. All of that in its own separate thing so that it does all this. It has the name, it goes through, and then we said we're just going to, right here, where display info is another thing. We're just going to do name, age, blah, blah, blah. It's pulling the name and the age. As you can see, when I highlight this, it highlights this. So it knows that it's being referenced. You can see here 2 references. And if I click that, you guys can't see it, but if you can click that, you can see what lines it's being referenced. Okay? So we're displaying the info that we have set already. Got me? All right. And then we're coming down here. We're going to run the program, quote unquote. We're making main down here, which you can just enter a few times up here and move main down and then do it there. I'm just so out of it. I didn't really think about that. And then we're saying, hey, we're creating a new instance of this public class up here, and we're saying that name, right, is Alice. And we're saying that age, right, is 30. That is the value. That is the value. That's the string. That's the int. And then we're saying now call this to output what it is. Bam. And that is encapsulation in short form. Now, excuse all the weird syntaxy stuff. I'll try to unmess that up in the next video. So we've gone over encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. There's going to be more videos on these ones coming up, so don't freak out. But yeah, encapsulation is we're hiding the internal state of an object. This is our object. We're hiding the internal state of it, right? We're not letting the program access anything except for name and age. And that is all there is to it. So if you enjoyed that, please like, share, subscribe, comment. I appreciate you guys. I see that I've got some new subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.